Hi, if you like the video, please remember to subscribe. Hi, it's Rob from robandphoto.com and the SEL subject composition and lights with a quick look at the Opteka BGRXT camera grip for the Canon EOS 350d or Digital Rebel XT digital SLR. So here we go, this is the grip, the BGRXT. There's a number of reasons why you might want to use a grip. Probably chief among them is sort of in the name, is the fact that it enables you to use 2 batteries instead of 1, so you can get a lot longer battery life out of your camera and shoot for a lot longer without having to change over. But also you can shoot with AA batteries as well, so you could just use rechargeables, or if you're on a really long photo trip whereby you needed you didn't have access to a charger and you wanted to just use normal AAs, you could use that particular cartridge and do away with having to use your generic batteries. But I'm using these two, and in fact when you buy the Opteka BGRXT grip, it comes with 2 batteries anyway, so you can charge them up and then you're good to go. Before we put it on the camera, let's just have a quick look at the grip itself. It's made apparently in the same factory that makes the Canon battery grips, but it's about half the price. As you can see, it's got a nice rubber grip on the bottom. You've got an extra shutter button, which we'll come to in a minute, another command dial on there, and then we've also got our exposure compensation button, our automatic focus point selection button, and our exposure lock button as well, obviously on off. So here we go, so here's the 350d Rebel XT. So how do we put it on? Well, the first thing you've got to do is take your battery cover off, which you flick around like that. You might not be able to see this in the video, but there's a tiny little spring just there that you ping back, and that means you can then take the battery cover off. But, and this is really clever, what you then do is you take your battery cover and it slots into this little holder on the battery grip in there like that, so you're not going to lose it, so it's nice and safe. Then all you have to do then is take your battery grip, get your camera, slide that in there, and then you can probably just about see the tripod mount in between. Then all you do is turn that until it's nice and snug like that, and then we've got our camera with our battery grip on. So it's a good idea because it makes your camera a lot bigger, a lot more sturdier, so you've got something more to sort of grip onto. But where it really comes into its own is when you're shooting in portrait mode. So normally if you're shooting in portrait mode and you haven't got a battery grip, when you're shooting that way, you've got to sort of use this button, and it's all a bit, your hands are in the wrong place. But if you've got battery grip, obviously when you flip it over to portrait mode, dunk, you hold it like that on the side. See how I'm holding that? And that means you can then use this extra shutter button here. So it's a very natural way to hold the camera in portrait mode. And also you've got your command dial for changing your aperture or your shutter speed on the top there. If you want to bang in some exposure compensation, all you've got to do is press down that and then move the wheel, and that will work that way. If you want to change your focus point, you can then use that button. If you want to lock your exposure, you can then use that button. So it's all very, very nice indeed. The disadvantage obviously is that it makes your camera bigger and heavier, and like in my case, means that it doesn't really fit in my little low pro camera bag anymore, so I'll probably have to get a bigger camera bag. But it fits nicely on my tripod, and the extra weight the tripod doesn't seem to mind. I've been out shooting today with it, and your arm does ache a little bit more when you're shooting handheld, because obviously my body needs to get used to holding the extra weight of the camera. But it did give me a lot more of a stable base. And the beauty of going from shooting landscape, click click click, and then just going dunk, and then being able to shoot portrait mode really easy with this really strong base. Definitely made shooting a different experience. It almost felt like I had a new camera, and the colours match the body very well, and it all looks nice and professional. And now I've got a camera with massive battery life with the 2 batteries on there, and as I said before, I can now use AA batteries if I have to. But it just makes the camera, you know, bigger, chunkier, easier to hang on to, and yeah, definitely a recommended purchase. The Opteka BGRXT battery grip for the Canon EOS 350d or Digital Rebel XT. Well, my name's Rob from robnonphoto.com and the SEL Subject Composition and Light Photography podcast, and hopefully pretty soon I'll be seeing you on Flickr.